Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy Friday. And it's almost Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone here. Can't believe it's already that time of year. All right, we're going to kick it off here. I want to start off by addressing the obvious incident that we've talked about all week. You heard Chief Jennings address it on Wednesday. He stayed down there, answered like every question, and we've put as much information out as we can at this point. Of course, it's an active and ongoing internal investigation. There's a process here that we do quite a bit with internal investigations, and that's active. I want to clarify something from the statement that we released yesterday. We released a statement yesterday afternoon that confirms that an officer did deliver a strike during the initial encounter. And I want to clarify that was during the initial encounter, and that happened prior to the encounter that we've seen on social media where the officers are on the ground. Okay, there was maybe some confusion that we've heard about there. The incident that we referenced yesterday in the statement was prior to the incident on the ground. Okay, pivoting from that situation, something that we have going on this afternoon that I want to address because it's very important to us. Officer Mia Goodwin died in the line of duty nearly 2 years ago. It was December of 2021. Officer Goodwin was assigned up in the University City Division. That's where, unfortunately, her life was taken on Interstate 85 right near W.T. Harris Boulevard. Today, this afternoon at 1 p.m., the bridge, the overpass of W.T. Harris over Interstate 85 is going to be dedicated to Mia, and the signage is going to be posted and unveiled. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet for us because we recognize that this is happening because we lost one of our own. We lost somebody who signed up and who served the city for 6 years. Mia was strong. She was kind. She represented what we want to represent as an agency. But it's also a pleasure to be able to do this. And we're thankful that the state of North Carolina, that the city of Charlotte has chosen to do this, has chosen to honor her and her family by doing this. And so it's going to be a somber time this afternoon, but it's also going to be a celebration of Mia and her life. And so we hope to see many of you out there at 1 o'clock up in University City. It's going to be right near the Hilton, between the Hilton and the rooms to go right there on W.T. Harris near North Tryon Street. That's all I have as far as introduction. Go ahead.
What do you want people to know when they drive by and see the name, and what do you want people to remember and maybe learn about her?
Yeah, great question. We're excited that this signage etches Mia into the very fabric of this community. And there's no doubt that we and many of the people in Charlotte will never forget Mia. But to see the signage go up, it's going to be a representation to thousands and thousands of people that see that sign for as long as we're all here. And it's dedicated to her service and her sacrifice here in the city of Charlotte.
I want to switch gears back to the video. You put out a statement yesterday confirming that an officer did hit Ms. Pierre in the face. Is that officer facing any disciplinary action or reassignment at this time? So
that's part of the ongoing investigation. It's a process here. So that officer, at this point, there's no change of assignment, no, for that officer. But again, there are facts and there are things that are going to be developed as this investigation goes on.
What does an internal investigation look like?
Sure, just like many things, but we talk to people, we talk to witnesses, we talk to the officers, we look at video, not only the officer's body-worn camera, but any video surrounding. We look at photographs of injuries, and it's basically getting a picture, the entire picture, not one moment in time, but the entire picture of the entire incident.
So the first officer to respond to the scene, is he still currently on patrol?
Yes.
The blow to the face, the chief later stated that the officer hit her back. So you folks allow retaliation measures and hit the lady back? Is that part of your policies and procedures?
So I'm going to speak generally here. I'm not going to speak to this incident. I'm going to speak generally. Officers, just like anybody else, have the right to defend themselves. We put that in our statement yesterday because we feel it's important that people understand and realize. Officers have the right to defend themselves, just like anybody else does. And officers are able, through policy and state law, to use reasonable force to effect an arrest. So, speaking generally, I want to make sure everybody understands that an officer can defend themselves. We included in our statement that the female struck the officer multiple times, and that the strike that the officer delivered was in response to that aggression.
Thank you for elaborating on the officer hitting the woman initially, but I want you to try to clarify something for us. What did the chief see differently between the first time he saw the body cam video? He said he couldn't tell one way or the other if the first officer punched her in the face, and now he says the officer did punch her in the face. They had the interview statements before he first took the podium, so what changed between now and then?
So again, when we talk about an active and ongoing investigation, I know those are words that we use a lot, but we mean it. It's ongoing. Information develops over the course of time, sometimes by the hour, sometimes by the day, sometimes by the week. So there are new things that develop that are leading us at this point to confirm that that's what happened.
How many witnesses have come forward so far?
I'm not aware of that.
We spoke to a woman yesterday who claims that she witnessed the incident, and she called CMPD, the non-emergency line, asked to speak to someone about feeling unsettled about the interaction that she had witnessed, and she said that she was told she was blown off, essentially. What is your response to that?
Okay, so I'm not aware of that specific witness or that her specific account, but what I can tell you is that our internal affairs is open. They take walk-ins here at the law enforcement center. Our website has information that people can submit directly through our website, even if they wanted to do it anonymously. There are ways that people can get in contact with the investigators in our Internal Affairs Bureau, and so if there's someone in that position, I would encourage them to reach out. Jesse.
So I know there's some stuff that was caught on video, some that wasn't, right? When it comes to the interaction and the fact that you guys are saying Christina Pierre hit the officer multiple times, is that something that is set? You guys have seen this on video and can for sure say this? And then when it comes to him striking her back, we are for sure saying this is not on video, but this is from witness interviews?
So two questions there. First question, is it confirmed on video that Miss Pierre hit the officer? The answer is yes.
And this is before he hit her for sure?
Say that again?
And this is before he hit her?
Yes, correct.
Okay, but that part is not on video of him striking her back?
Right, not clearly visible.
So depending on the circumstances, the DA doesn't always prosecute low-level marijuana offenses, right? So why did an officer initiate the call over a blunt, and is CMPD planning to increase its pursuit of people smoking marijuana in public?
So I think Chief Jennings really addressed this on Wednesday. Marijuana is illegal in the state of North Carolina. Some folks like that, some folks don't, and we understand that. That's something that's not set by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. It's not set by the city of Charlotte. It is illegal in the state of North Carolina. Chief Jennings addressed on Wednesday maybe a potential review of how we handle that, and so I'll let his comments stand.
But it wasn't a call-in. The officer decided this was.
So officers patrolling the area, South Tryon Street, West Arrowwood Road, smell the odor of marijuana and initiating an investigation.
Yet many concerts throughout Charlotte area, there's a lot of police officers there, and there's definite smell of marijuana, and you don't see anything like it's overlooked, it's ignored. So to have an incident like this with a small blunt, and yet, what are you guys telling the public, and yet any concert on it, whether country, rock and roll, rap.
Tina, I don't know if there was a question in there, but what I can say is that marijuana is illegal in the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, it just seems like it's.
Okay.
So, well, I guess if you could clarify, yes, we know it's illegal, but what is, not what your policy is, but how do you guys know? I know he said it's rare that you guys go after that, but like, is there a standing conversation of, listen, if someone's smoking and you know, let's just leave it, like, how do you, like, what's the
Yeah,
common?
because these concerts, you can smell it, and I've seen Chief Jennings at concerts.
Listen, when we talk about marijuana in the state of North Carolina, it is illegal. Officers have the discretion, but are able to enforce laws of the state of North Carolina. And I think we're going to leave it at that for that topic.
Okay.
Some people have already said they don't trust this internal affairs process. What can you say to put some confidence in what's happening here?
Casey, I'll say this. CMPD has done a lot of work, not just on this investigation, but in many years preceding Monday. A lot of work to build trust, to build community collaboration, to try to achieve a goal where the residents of Charlotte trust and openly support the police department. That's our goal. It's stated in the chief's core 4 initiatives, community collaboration. That's our goal. So a lot of work has been done prior to Monday to achieve that goal. And I can tell you that Chief Jennings has not stopped working this week. He's been on the move, on the go, having conversations, having tough talks, and that's not going to stop. Our internal affairs investigation is thorough, it's complete, it's independent, and it's in-house, it's here at CMPD, but it's not part of an officer's chain of command that's doing it. But we've put in the work. We're thankful that we have put in the work. We feel it's important to put in that work, and we're going to continue to do so.
What can you tell us about the man and the situation in terms of the gun? Was it obtained legally? Did he have it in possession legally? Like, what can you tell us about the guy and the gun?
Brett, I don't have much there, but I don't have information as to whether it was obtained legally, but I do know that he was charged with carrying a concealed weapon. So I think that answers probably the second half of that question.
I had 2 questions. The chief seems sort of, how many strikes is enough? He seems to be like, well, so how many strikes is enough? You got something like when Rodney King was hit more than 56 times with a baton. How many strikes? And it didn't seem like there was any duty to intervene from any other officers. And according to the response to resistance that the CIG group and mayor put together, it didn't seem like there was...
Okay, here's what I'll say. The investigation is still ongoing. We're trying to present facts. We're not presenting conclusions at this point, okay? Facts, not conclusions. That's where we're at. To address your question about how much is enough, we know we've communicated what state law says, reasonably necessary, reasonable force, and I think Chief Jennings, again, I'm going to go back to what he said on Wednesday. I think he answered that question on behalf of the police department thoroughly and as best as he can at that point, so I'm going to let those comments stand for him.
Will you be asking the SBI to investigate it, and if not, why not?
No, not at this time. It's going to be handled as a response to resistance investigation here in CMPD.
He was put on an investigation unit. So the officer was removed from duty and put on an investigation unit. Is that the same as that's investigating this incident?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And how do you folks feel? Because some people are saying it seemed more racially motivated than just, because the marijuana is such a small amount. So how will he be able to discern on investigations? Are you folks concerned if he's gonna?
The investigation looks at the facts. The investigation looks at the facts in totality, the totality of the circumstances, and then decisions are made based on that.
In the coming days, weeks, months, what is happening here to get down to the bottom of what happened on Monday?
I think that was already, I'm sorry, I think that was already stated with your internal investigation. That's going to happen over the course of, I don't know what else.
Well, people are just not feeling confident about the police investigating the police. So anything that you can say to make people feel better about that?
I'll go back to what I said earlier. The chief of police and many others in our organization are having conversations with the community. Outside of this building, with the community leaders, heads of organizations, people that play an important role in our city, And we are relying on those conversations to continue to build trust, building upon what we have done in recent years to try to achieve that.
Did either one of them have priors?
I'm not aware of that.
And were they both in a charge or with some kind of possession? Do you know?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay.
Do we know what the amount was by any chance?
I don't.
Okay.
When you say that the officer returned a strike to the police, can you clarify, is that a punch, open hand? Do you know?
It was a strike. It was a strike to the face.
I have to ask again, it didn't appear to be any duty to intervene, so how much is that still intact? Because they worked so hard to put some of that, the response to resistance, and it didn't appear, people are saying it didn't appear like there was any de-escalation, and that even the officers showing up, like there was no duty to intervene.
Tina, unfortunately, sorry, if you want to take this one, go ahead.
Tina, yeah, we're not at a conclusion at this point. We're not at a conclusion. So if you were saying that you don't, I don't know if you're stating that you don't think there was a duty to intervene, or you think they should have intervened.
Well,
we're not at that point.
But
We're
it
not at
seemed
that
like
point.
that was a couple of years
And
ago.
that's going to be a conclusion that people can watch based on that video.
But
Of
what
course,
do
there's
officers
more.
daily struggle being taught or shown to know that there's supposed to be some duty to intervene?
Sure, we talk about de-escalation a lot, and it's written into our policy. Again, Chief Jennings talked about this on Wednesday. He addressed de-escalation. He talked about that. De-escalation can look a lot of different ways, okay? And de-escalation also requires, going back to Chief Jennings' comments, somewhat of a cooperating party, okay? Again, I'm going to speak generally. De-escalation, when we think about a barricaded subject, for example, okay? Somebody who has warrants inside of a house, and sometimes our SWAT team will deploy there. We talk about de-escalation there. That's an example of de-escalation where we're using time, we're using distance, we're using verbal dialogue to not instigate a potentially bad situation, okay? But de-escalation generally can look a lot of different ways.
So you guys haven't concluded if the officers tried to de-escalate this situation?
That's part of the investigation, yeah.
At this time, I mean,
Do we have questions on anything else? Anything else?
We completely understand all of the concern for this, and
But there was so much work done for the response to resistance.
Yeah, and Tina, I think that I've addressed that the best that I can here in this setting.
But that's why
I'm sure that we will have conversations for many, many months
And I also
about
think
this,
that a
and
lot
I
of
think
these
some of that will be
questions are
fleshed out there.
department-level things that need to be answered, and that's gotta come from the Chief Jennings, and we had Chief Jennings yesterday. He's unfortunately not able to be here today, but I don't know that Lieutenant Peters can continue to try to answer these things that come from the department, head of the department level.
But with you guys
All
self-investigate.
right, Tia, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Builds that,
Anything
as
else?
you mentioned.
Totally
Yes, ma'am.
understand.
I want to go to Monday's Sugar Creek shooting. So can you confirm that Kia Garnett, the woman who was killed, was she an innocent bystander and got caught in the crossfire?
I cannot confirm that. I don't have much more to share there. We put out a release a couple days ago highlighting the arrest of Mr. Shaquem Sands in this case, and his charges. He's charged with murder in this case. Shaquem, S-H-I-K-E-E-M. Last name is Sands, S-A-N-D-S.
I believe we put that in the release.
Okay. And do you guys have video of the incident? I know there are surveillance camera around that area, so any video?
I'm not aware of that.
Mike, do you know how many murders are this year? Almost sounds.
Oh geez, I can get that like right after this.
Yeah.
One last question on the Sugar Creek shooting. What are the tactics police are using to address like open air drug use, sales, prostitution, assaults that business owners and residents are complaining about in that?
In that specific area. That corridor, Sugar Creek and 85, is in our North Tryon division. They use a lot of different tactics. I'm not going to speak specifically, but they use a lot of different tactics to address some of these things. A lot of it is working with business owners, the owners of the motels there, but also that corridor is one of the city of Charlotte's corridors of opportunity. There's been a lot of work done there. There's going to be a lot of investment there by the city of Charlotte to bring that back to life and try to stifle some of any criminal activity that's happening there.
I don't want to go too much back to the Pier incident, but in relation to Monday's shooting, some of the people, businesses, residents around that area have expressed frustration with that specific corner. There being a lot of crime, drug use, that sort of thing, and there not being as much of a police presence compared to what happened with Ms. Pierre, and that sort of the level of responses in different parts of the city are different, and I'm wondering if you can speak to that in whatever way you think addresses that.
Sure. So we monitor different areas, again, all over the city. A lot of times it's done by division basis, and sometimes it's just done more globally, about areas that might be experiencing more crime, specifically violent crime, than others. Chief Jennings addressed it the other day, 194 violent incidents within a mile of that intersection in the last 3 years. So we talk about the work that we do in response to the trends that we see, proactive police work, community work in these areas to try to address these trends.
Is North Tryon still under investigation?
I don't understand your question.
Well, a while back, they were under investigation.
I'm sorry, I still don't understand.
Last week's carjacking at the Outlet Mall, do you guys have a suspect, and is there an arrest coming?
That incident, there has been no arrest that I am aware of.
And we also heard that the victim may not be completely blameless in this incident. Can CMPD confirm that? If so, can the department provide any detail on what transpired in that parking lot?
I certainly can't speak to anything about a victim being blameless or not. That was an incident regarding an attempted stolen vehicle. Suspect produced a weapon. The weapon was fired. Nobody was hit, is my understanding. And that's pretty much it.
I'll forward you that question.
We'll move to another stabbing at the Condenza Road. I think that's how it's pronounced. Can you provide any narrative about Wednesday's stabbing on that road?
I don't have much information there. I don't believe it was a stabbing. Okay, there was injury that was sustained, but I don't believe it was a stabbing.
What kind of injury?
A laceration.
Did it involve a tenant and a landlord?
I'm not aware.
And any suspects in arrest?
No, ma'am. Anything else?
Any info on the overnight homicide?
Overnight homicide, Providence Division, 800 block of Villaport. There was one person deceased after they were transported to the hospital. We are still working that investigation. We don't have any arrests to highlight at this point, but we did identify the victim in that also. And of course, we certainly ask for anybody with information to call Crime Stoppers or call and speak with one of our homicide detectives if they have information that they can share. At 704-432-TIPS is the phone number directly to our homicide detectives. This will be the last question here, Jesse, go ahead.
A shooting or a woman stating that she was like, a shot came into through the hotel room or something like that on Queen City Drive.
Queen City Drive, I'm sorry, I don't have any information on that.
I can try to help you all.
Yeah, we can try to get that afterwards here, okay? All right, thank you all for being here, appreciate it, okay? Have a good weekend.